President Ramaphosa will take a 163-page Just Transition Investment Plan to the international funders at COP27 in Egypt next week. The 5-year plan aims to move the country from the current high carbon emission from electricity generation to cleaner sources of energy. It also seeks to clean the gap in the current electricity deficit. The president will have to convince investors that the country has what it takes to deliver on its just energy transition plan. South Africa has been battling to deal with its energy crisis despite billions of rands spent on improving its power generation capacity.
We face a shortfall in electricity supply which has caused our economy immense damage and continues to destroy jobs and livelihoods. It's put a number of businesses in great difficulty. Some have had to shut down. So this is a real crisis, and its enormity is widespread throughout the country.
President Ramaphosa says the country needs more money than what it's been given, and this will be top of the agenda at the COP27 in Egypt.
While the initial funding committed by partner countries will play an important catalytic role, it is not sufficient to meet the scale of our ambition. And in going to COP27, that's precisely the message that we will be taking forward. Supporting a just transition requires adequate financial support that must include a significantly larger grant funding component to ensure the implementation of active labor market policies, reskilling, upskilling, as well as the creation of new industries on a considerable scale.
The president also says South Africa's energy transition plan is like no other in the world and will leave no one behind. He criticized the developed countries for the empty promises they made at the summit held in Paris.
The promise that was put out in Paris that they would make available up to $100 billion a year so that all of us can transit in a much more effective way in terms of the support that we need, the mitigation that should be there, and how we should adapt. That promise was never really fulfilled. Now, even as we move forward, as we should, given the exposure we have to climate change, we remember what has happened in the recent past, and it is for this reason that we are emboldened to argue and agitate for more funding.
On Monday and Tuesday next week, President Ramaphosa will join other heads of states and governments in Egypt for the Summit of World Leaders. SABC News, Johannesburg.